Welcome to Film School Friday. I'm Corey.
I'm Bill.
And together,
we host the In Focus podcast.
Film School Friday is our special weekly episode where I get to quiz Bill to see how much knowledge he's retained from his years of film school. And not that they were many years of film school, but...
No, they were a normal 4 years.
It's been many years since you were in film school.
That is correct.
So today's topic is one that is probably very near and dear to your heart, I feel like. But it's one I don't know that I'm a true believer in. And that is storyboards.
Yeah.
And what are storyboards, and do we really need them?
So storyboards, it depends on your preference a lot of times, especially in the indie world. Storyboards are essentially a visual guide for what your shots are going to be. I kind of describe it as almost like having a frame-by-frame comic book of what you're shooting. And it looks that way. It's little panels that are sketches of your shots. The shot list comes first. The storyboards are the visual representation of that. They're easy to bring on set and then guide the DP in terms of what the shot needs to look like, or what the director's vision is, rather. A lot of people, I know a lot of people, at least in town, that don't really operate with storyboards. And that's fine. I don't always do it myself. It really depends on the shoot. There are times, like, for example, if I'm the director and I'm the DP, which is the case a lot of times, I don't need to make storyboards for myself because I know what my shots are going to be. I know what my vision is as a director. If I'm working as a director with a DP that I've hired, I like to make storyboards or provide storyboards to that DP to better communicate ahead of time before we get on set what kind of shots I'm looking to have, give them a visual representation, because this is a visual medium. So yeah, you can give a regular shot list to someone, it's just a bulleted list. But then I feel like it just sells it even more when you can give them a visual representation of what's going to happen, even if it's just rough sketches. And so I'm a big believer in storyboards. I think they're very helpful with communicating the entire vision.
Yeah. So, and I think that's a good point too. So the communicating the entire vision, is there, I'm just thinking of all the different components that could be made up in a storyboard, like clearly framing or composition show up in there. Mm-hmm. Are you also talking about like potential focal lengths or anything else relevant to the makeup of the shot, or is it really just about composition and, I think, to your point, telling the story in more of a comic book style to give you an idea of visually what the idea is?
I think it depends on preference. I'm one of the few, I feel like, that does my own storyboards. There's storyboard artists out there where that's their full-time gig. It's just preference. It's whatever you're looking to do. I've seen very simple storyboards that are stick figures, like director James Gunn. His Guardians of the Galaxy storyboards were famously minimalist stick figure-y sketches that he would post on Instagram and have people guess what scene it was.
Really?
Because they were so rough.
Yeah.
We're talking napkin type sketches. But then there's people that do these beautiful storyboard sketches that have depth of field, can be read in a pencil sketch, and there's software out there that can allow you to communicate what the lighting and the shadows are going to look like a lot more and fill that in for you digitally. And of course, like, there's room for notes on storyboards, so you can put things like focal length and of course the scene and shot number, any sort of actions that you're going to want to capture, you put in there, like so-and-so walks from left frame to right frame. Of course, the obvious thing, like, this is a close-up, this is a medium. You draw the little arrows in there to show the action. So it does have that comic book vibe to an extent.
Okay. Makes sense. You're clearly a fan.
Yes, I am a fan of storyboards. A part of that, too, is because I like to draw. That was my first love. Any opportunity to draw, do a little art, prelim art for a film is great.
Yeah. Are you available to hire for storyboards?
I have never made myself available to do storyboards outside of my own stuff.
Now's your chance.
But I'm sure I could talk to you about it.
Now's your chance. Shoot your
Yes.
shot. All right. So at Bill, if you need some storyboards.
If you need some storyboard, if you need a comic book representation of your film.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Well, nice job. I feel a little better educated. I'm still not sure I'm sold on it, but I think most of the work that I do, storyboard's probably not necessary. Definitely in the narrative space. It makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Definitely helps a lot from a pre-production and probably even a post-production standpoint as you start cutting stuff together.
And I would add that storyboards are completely unnecessary if you're doing, like, let's say, a performance video. You don't need that. You don't need to storyboard out the different angles of someone playing a guitar. That's just
Right.
useless. It is more complex stuff like narrative, where there's a lot of talent, action, and camera movement, and even in music videos that have a little more going on logistically and maybe from an effects standpoint, storyboards are good.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal. Good info. Bill, as always, nice job. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You did it. You did it. All right. For our listeners, make sure you check us out on Instagram at InFocusPod or online at InFocusPodcast.com. And if you like what you heard today, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rating. It would help us out a ton. And until next time,
Feed your crew.
feed the crew.